Hey guys, it's Jeremiah. I'm here with Matt. Welcome to Stone Blue Airlines, and today Snipe Air Industries, it's right there on the wing, is sponsoring this episode. We're taking a look at their 38-inch caliber wing.
You said it right there.
We like small wings. I mean, I've been flying small wing for quite a while. I really like the flinch, and this is a perfect companion to it.
Oh, well, you know, we do a lot of flying together and everything, and it's really an interesting thing for us to be able to see how the planes fly together, you know, doing the close formations and actually, you know, getting off the throttle, seeing the glide slopes and everything. So we've been putting this wing through its paces. We're not going to be showing you a maiden. We're going to be showing you a review on an airplane that actually has some hours on it.
Yeah, it's nice. We can come out here and toss a plane for the first time, but we can't really tell you the in and outs. And so this one we've been flying for the last, couple of weeks, on and off, kind of messing with it, tweaking things. The build went together. How'd the build go?
The build went excellent.
Now there's something unique about this. If you take a look at a traditional small wing, this one's been modified. We got skids on the front, typical coroplast bay lid. Now there's something kind of unique and different on the caliber. What's it got in the center?
Well, this actually has a center pod, and it has some real interesting features about it. What you do, and what Tim's, the owner of Snipe Industries, what his intention is to have this be a flexible platform where even in the future with some more models coming out that you should be able to change out the wings. On the larger models, I think he's going for making sure that your wings can break down into small packages and be able to transport. It's a really neat, good concept, and one of the things I like the most about it is that normally on wings, you know, everybody's going for the blunt nose wing, and that does, you know, create some individual needs that you have to think about when you're building in the thing. The biggest of which is hitting that CG right.
Putting gear in the small wings is always an issue. Now the pod kind of simplifies that. So you've got a general area of where you're putting everything in. It's got a camera now.
Now we have to caveat that because I've already fiddled around with putting it in right. And then, you know, there's the right way, the wrong way, and the matte way. Well, I did something different to it too. Well, but before we get too far away from that pod issue, this wing is a lot easier to CG. It really is. It really makes a huge difference. And then, you know, a lot of the wings are made for the GoPro and everything. This 38 caliber is actually designed for a 2.458 setup using a Mobius. And that's even another interesting thing about the pod. You see that the Mobius camera actually has protection. Now I have my lens slid out a little bit too far. Yeah, I'm gonna move it back before I fly. Sorry, I just kind of slapped it on there. But there's another thing that is interesting
I like the bottom area. Now we're running a 3300 Lumineer pack. I've got that in my bag, so we're running in there. Fits perfect. We've got the same Cobra setup that we run and recommend in the store on the flinch. And now I would say this is a thin wing. If we're going to compare it to flinch, which is one of my favorites, it's definitely a thinner wing. It reminds me of something Alex and I cut as kind of like a fast, just a hot wing. And it is. It's a quick wing. I would not put it in the beginner end.
Well, these are two completely, what we found out from doing our flying and everything, they're two completely different beasts. And honestly, they fit, you know, two niches well. Yeah. And this one has its strong points. That one has its strong points. We're going to go over that, but
they're both fun wings.
Yeah,
and that's what it comes down to.
They're both fun wings, and what's interesting, we're going to fly them both together today. They have the exact same power plants. Now, for a lot of the medium-sized planes, we've completely fallen in love with the Cobra 2217-8 motor, the 2300 kV.
Plenty of power, lots of get up and go. You can fly the plane slow, but you've got lots of punch on the top end, and you're only pushing a small prop. So on landings, especially for a wing, you don't want to be swinging a big prop and have something catch. Plus, as you go through trees, or you're cutting through stuff and dodge, you know.
You notice what he's saying. We don't just dodge trees, we actually go through them.
Right, right. We're going to hit something at some point, whether it's in the air or on the ground, and it's nice to not have a huge swinging prop back there. We're going to show you how to launch this one and how we've done this one and a couple different techniques on that. And then basically we're going to get up in the air, we're going to do some tandem flying and just have some fun today. I want to see it fly. Let's get in the air.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything else to talk about as far as the buildup?
Yeah, there's something that
we did spar.
I did say we had to caveat what we did. Like I said, this is set up for 2.4 and 5.8. You know, and it's a high performance wing. It really does well not loading it up, you know, extremely heavy with batteries, like I know the Grand Poobah here likes to do.
I like to drop what I can drop in it to get my flight times. This wing is a little bit more limited. The flinch does give us a little bit more expansion on the battery end. But again, you've got to go with what the plane is set up and capable of do. I like to push it to the max, see what it's able to do, and then you back off a little bit.
And that's what we're doing. We're actually pushing it.
Yeah.
We're going to keep this wing for a while. This is going to see some more testing. Now, what I had originally done is I set up the receiver toward the back, and I had the receiver antennas. We're using a FreeSky L9R, and I actually plugged the holes up I had with that, which I already tested it with it, and it did great. I had the video transmitter up front, which, you know, was a 5.8. We used 600 milliwatt immersion, and I got it through my head. I would like to see this thing eventually on a vector.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
See what it's able to do.
So by moving and spacing stuff out, you could easily drop a vector right in that center bay, and you're ready to go. It's amazing what you can get in these small wings, and what's nice about the Vector is it's a really clean setup to begin with. A 2.4-5.8 with a Vector setup on this would be so simple to do.
And this would hold the Vector easily.
Yeah.
However, I will caution you, because it's a thin wing, you really need to take care when you're cutting stuff into the wing. And what I did, again, because it's so thin, is I went ahead with some 5mm and just ran some extra 5mm on the top and bottom where I made some of the deeper cuts, just to make sure the wing was reinforced. We
recommend if you're building and you've got a kit that's running, to be honest, anything less than 5mm, we really like it on all of our wings. It's all we're doing in the custom shop, and it's all we sell in the store. 5mm is a great way to go for durability. It adds some rigidity to the wing, and it goes on just as easy as 3mm does, but you get the strength factor and honestly durability. So all right, let's get it up in the air, guys. We're going to show you how the thing flies. We're going to show you some FPV on some in the air footage, some me flying it, and honestly we'll show you what it does.
I hate talking on a beautiful day like this.
I know. It is calm, it's spring, and we want to fly. Now, I have pushed this one. I wanted to see if it would handle a 4,000 milliamp, and it definitely will. It's capable of flying on a 4,000. I do think it's pushing it a little bit due to its size and just the loading on the wings. I don't think there's any problem with running that much, but just know it's going to be a stout launch, and you probably want to get somebody else to toss it. We are running a 3300 in here, a Lumineer pack today, and that's a nice setup. Not too heavy, not too light, plenty of runtime. So let's go over a launch technique. Matt's at the sticks, and you can really toss these small wings really a couple different ways. The easiest one is get a buddy to launch for you, and grab on either side, and then you're gonna keep stiff arms, and you're gonna toss back. You've seen Matt do this 100 times for me on the show so far, and he's really good at it. So we're gonna do the first technique, and we'll get it in the air. Yep. So nice toss over, immediately gets the plane up in the air and moving. Something you also want to do before any launch is go ahead and do a surface check and a motor check. I like to do a quick blip on the throttle, make sure everything's working so you don't immediately just get a launch and then something goes wrong. Typically this technique I do if I'm completely by myself and I've got a controller in my left hand and my right hand. So you're going to do a one-handed pull. It's not extremely hard to do, and you can use this same technique on a much larger wing. Typically, I'll set on a bigger wing. I'll actually set it on the ground, make sure I'm kind of ready. Pull, you're gonna pull throttle, usually 3/4 to almost full, and then you're just gonna pull it right over your head. Left hand is on the sticks. Okay, last technique is kind of like a frisbee launch. You can have a buddy do it this way too, and it's nice to keep your hand out of the prop. You're gonna come around and let it go. I typically will do this one also when I'm by myself and I've got to toss my wing, and you know, I choose whatever method I feel good at that day. I personally like the overhead.
That's genuinely better for the thicker wings and stuff like that.
It is. If you've got a good airfoil, some of these will tend to roll on you on this technique, so it's nice to have somebody else toss them for you. But this is another method you can use for the wing. All right, I'm just gonna give my breakdown on the caliber.
Wait. Measure your breathing.
My hands aren't trembling, but definitely my heart is racing a little bit.
Mine was.
Okay, it's fast. And I like this motor setup. I really like it on the flinch. Here's the difference. Here's the difference. I would break it down between the two. I've been flying the flinch for a couple years now. The flinch is just all around. I know it's chunky, it's a little bit heavier, it's stocky, but it can do it all. And I don't have to worry about it kind of like breaking up, I think, in a hard hit. This I might worry about a little bit more, really, really pushing it hard in a hard hit, possibly having separation and really breaking it up. But as far as an adrenaline rush on FPV, it is fast on this setup. And honestly, this wing flies really, really well, extremely fast, and it's locked in. Most of the wings have to fly fast to be locked in, but I was doing inverted, I was doing rolls, I did an Emmelman kind of, I think, I don't know, it just was all going by really fast, and once I felt it was locked in, it just was there, and I just kept giving it more power, and more power. Wow, it felt good. It felt really good in the air. I think I would change a few things on the construction, and Matt did some of those to kind of beef the thing up, and because of that, I think this wing is stout, and it'll be a lot of fun. So if you want a line of sight wing, this would be fun to do. If you want to throw some cameras and you're not quite ready for FPV, but you're pretty good with aircraft, this would be a fun aircraft for you. And then if you're ready to do the FPV and really have an adrenaline rush, pick up our power pack for this thing, and you guys would have some fun. Okay, we just got the planes down, and watch this. Now we're going to turn the radios off. Make sure we always get the planes unplugged first, radio second. Let me tell you just a tad bit about the flying and some of my experience. Jeremiah is the wing Jedi, he's the guru. I like flying planes. To be honest with you, the only other actual wing that I've had is a Texumo. This is no Texumo. When I came down, I was a little bit shaky. And that was because, you know, for one, I don't know if I've flown anything this responsive in this much of a sports car. But secondly, I don't know if it was an illusion or not, but it almost seemed like under certain circumstances, when I pulled off the throttle, it just wanted to go faster off throttle. Talk about a rush. It was something. I was still shooting gaps. A lot of the footage, the aerial footage you're gonna see is stuff from what I was doing. But let me tell you what, it definitely got my adrenaline up. This thing's fun. Now on the build side of it, there's a couple of things that I did. For one, you'll notice, like in the kits and a lot of the instructions, this is just a matter of personal preference, but it makes sense to me. We move the control horns out toward the middle of the elevons. Now, that's just because, you know, we're running 9-gram Metal Gear servos on here. I believe it's the Emax ESO8 MAs that we have in the store. Now, they have plenty enough torque to handle anything that this can throw at it, but looking at this laminar flow airflow, like pretty much like a P-51 Mustang, I knew it was going to be going fast. So, you know, you get into a dive, you start going really, really fast, and you got to pull out of there. In my mind, when I'm thinking of that, I'm thinking that if I put that control horn out on the very inside edge, that the lever force to the servo is going to be multiplied. That's why I went ahead and split the difference. I put the servo toward the middle of the elevon, just because, in my mind, this is going to be more efficient when you're pulling out of one of them really high-speed dives or something. And we've never had one strip out.
No, never.
Talk about the centerpieces. This has definitely been beefed up from what the kit comes with, and I think, Matt, you and I both agree. I mean, we build to crash. I mean, that's really the only way to build in this hobby is build it like a tank ahead of time. I love being able to crash and then pick it back up again, you know?
Well, the thing about it is, we plan on having this a while. And now I think I'm probably going to have to wrestle Jeremiah for it because he had so much fun flying it. But we fly stupid. Well, not stupid, because that sounds irresponsible.
We have
fun. What I mean is fun stupid. You know, we're like at the Central Florida FPV meet, we're actually shooting gates that multi-rotors usually shoot and stuff, and that's where these things tend to take a beating. So we made this for ourselves, and in doing so, I actually departed from Tim's instructions. Now, you know, he has a very, very brilliant idea of making sure that this pod can be replaced in the event of any mishap. Where all you would have to do is pretty much cut the spars in the center and you know, slide the pod out and then refasten it. But knowing how we fly, I went ahead and I glued the wing sections to the pod itself. Now, I know that in the future, I'm probably going to have to make some repairs on some brakes or whatever, and it's not going to be as convenient, but at the same time, we fly stupid. Good stupid, not bad stupid. And here's a neat feature too. Take a look at this. His camera. Do you see how he has his camera in here? There are so many different options. It's like a camera bay. Now what I've done is I've taken some black EPP and I've actually made a saddle for my camera to sit into. And then, this is another advantage of having the receiver and the video transmitter where I did. I actually have my control for the camera that I have easy access to. But even then, you have space under here. I have extra wiring tucked under there. Tim's been very smart about where he's placed holes and everything that enabled me to be able to use a lot of zip ties and tie downs, which is excellent. Even where you see here in the battery bay, you actually have a separate compartment that's used for the ESC, and I don't even have the ESC really set in there firmly. I don't need it. I've got the wires zip tied down where it was convenient. And look at this. He's made sure to have adequate ventilation and everything in there. I mean, this guy's really put some thought into it. And coming from a builder standpoint, I appreciate that. Now, I think, especially even after today, both me and Jeremiah would recommend this wing, but with caveats. If this is your first wing, well, maybe not. Maybe you should go out and get a pop wing or something a little bit easier to fly first and then work your way into it, because once you get this is an adrenaline pumping, solidly locked in plane that when you punch the throttle, it only seems to get better and scream for more. We're gonna carry it. We're gonna carry this in the store and we love it. Expect to see more of it in the future.
So in closing, I was pleasantly surprised. It actually, you
were shocked because when we made the thing and everything,
it was more trouble than I was expecting.
We have this mindset that we don't care how fast the wind's blowing, we can fly. So we made it before it was actually trimmed out and real nice. We made it on like 30-mile-an-hour wind day.
That's all we've had. We've had cruddy weather, so it definitely was a pleasant surprise today due to we had some really good weather.
Pleasant surprise, your jaw was hanging open when you got down.
It was fun. It was really fun to fly. It was fun to fly. Durability is always a key part for me, just because I know how I personally fly. If I fly this hard and I know I will crash hard, I like to have a wing that will hopefully come back. I think with a couple of those caveats that you covered and a couple changes and tweaks and just building it really strong, I think you can come away with a really fun wing, fun for FPV.
I think if you don't put a UHF, a 900 megahertz, 5200 3-cell in it, you keep it like the manufacturer recommends. Lightweight. You keep it around a 3300 milliamp 3-cell. You do a 2.4 and a 5.8 setup, and you're going to hit the stuff that's close. You don't really need too much over that, because the stuff you're going to be hitting is the stuff where you're going to be shooting gaps, you're going to be having fun, it's not going to be a long range. Just know it's going to be fast. So the gaps you're going to hit with another aircraft, this one you're going to hit at probably 50 or 60 miles an hour. That is where it's locked in, but it was pinpoint accurate at that speed. At 60 miles an hour, it was locked in, and I was having some fun. So I'd say this was a good day. I had some fun. It was a great day. Both of us had fun with it.
38 caliber.
It was a blast.
It definitely packed a punch.
No pun intended.
We'll see you next time, guys.